Hi, I'm Dr. B, psychiatric nurse practitioner and creator of Choice Mapping. I'm doing a series on grieving the loss of a child. The first video was when I lost my son Johnny in a drowning accident. The second video was when I lost my son Reggie to a progressive disorder called DRPLA. This video, I'm going to talk about my daughter Maya. Maya's alive and well and off running around today with a caretaker. But there's something to anticipatory grief. And Maya has the same disorder that Reggie has, DRPLA. She was born completely normal, and she was 1 year younger than Reggie, and because Reggie was so difficult and so sick for so long, she just kind of grew up in the coattails of Reggie. But she had her first grand mal seizure when she was 11 years old. I really didn't think that Maya would get sick. I remember when they told us that this was a genetic disorder and that Maya had a 50% chance of having it. I was like, go ahead and test her. I knew it was negative. And she also had DRPLA. And then I was like, well, you know, my husband is, you know, in his late 30s. He has no symptoms. I'm sure Maya is going to be like my husband. And then it hit, the first grand mal seizure. And I know that this is the case when we try to think positive, then life just hits us. And I just encourage you to not give up on thinking positive. So I remember when Maya had that first grand mal seizure, I knew what it was. I knew the road we were going down. I was in shock, just laying there holding her. I didn't even call 911 right away. I think I was home alone with her, and the shock was just so deep. And I had been through, by that time, thousands of seizures with Reggie. And so I knew she's breathing. She's going to come out of this. I just held my baby girl, grieving that the symptoms of DRPLA were starting. They were a lot slower with her. The progression happened slowly. She basically responds to medications for a couple months, but she stopped developing. So she's now 20, and cognitively she's still 10 or 11 years old. She's happy though. She started to have difficulties with ataxia. She has seizures on a regular basis. Just the other day, she had a seizure and fell on the dresser, and we had to take her for stitches. So here we are. Here I am, still living with this progressive DRPLA. And it's different than when Reggie was getting worse, because I truly believe that I could fight and win against this ugly disease. I'm not hopeless. I'm more realistic that it would take a significant breakthrough in science to happen very quickly, which science doesn't happen quickly, for Maya not to pass away from DRPLA. And I have to live with that and care for her and love her, but still grieve, and still grieve Reggie, and still grieve Johnny. But with choice mapping, I can separate them, and I can take the time. Even today, doing this series is part of my controlled grief. I'm sad. I'm very, very sad. that this is happening, that I can't beat this disorder, and that Maya is getting worse, and that I lost Reggie already. And so grief comes in different forms. Anticipatory grief, that shocking, one day we're fine, the next day we've lost a loved one, and that slow progression of disorders that you fear will take your child. I know that there's thousands of parents out there who've lost their children to cancer, to other progressive disorders. And maybe you're there fighting with your child right now in a hospital room. They're getting chemo or they're getting treatment. We don't lose hope. We still do everything. I still do everything for Maya. I still take her to every doctor's appointment, try every new med. She's on an experimental med for seizures right now. Anything that comes up, donating to Cure Derpla for more research. I still am going through the actions of doing everything, but it is different. I do have this realization or grief, and sometimes just sad that this is happening to my baby. But if you follow me, if you follow my story, you know that I'm still going to be okay. I'm still going to figure out how to have purpose, meaning, for her to have purpose, meaning. I truly believe that Reggie's death and the struggles that I went through with him are going to change mental health treatment. They're going to change the way that we believe in our mental strength. And so if you watch this series, you're probably struggling with the loss of a child. Don't give up on yourself. You can be okay. Seek professional help if you need to. If you're suicidal, definitely seek professional help. Take medications if you need to. Figure it out. Wrestle with God. Deal with your grief, trauma, whatever the different categories are. Separate them so that you can deal with them in bite-sized pieces instead of just letting this horrible, horrible, horrible thing that's happened just enmesh every part of you and lose yourself in the process. I often hear parents who have lost a child say they will never be okay. They will never be happy. Please stop saying that. Your child wouldn't want that. We have to find a way. You have to find a way. You have to find that strength. I'm not anything special, and if I can do it, you can do it. I truly believe that we are mentally strong.